My name is Lexi Watson. I go to Athens High School. I'm a junior and I'm from Athens, Ohio. I play volleyball and I cheer.
Hi, my name is Grant Yater. I am a sophomore here in the College of Business, studying business analytics and finance. I am from Dublin, Ohio, which is a city northwest of Columbus.
I'm Steph Smith. I'm from Dublin, which is like right outside of Columbus. I'm a freshman at OU, and I am studying child and family studies right now.
Before I started Young Life, I would say that I was always leaning towards the wrong people in my life, and I was trying so hard to pour into friends that just weren't there for me. They didn't have my back.
Before a relationship with Jesus, also before Young Life, I was very lost. I was having trouble kind of finding who I was as a person and finding like this strong friend group that would push me to really become the better myself. And so all throughout like middle school and high school, I just really struggled finding that friend group that I could stick together and really go to if I had problems.
I never had like a set community that was like pushing me or like wanting more for me than what I was doing. I think I was confused and like I was never like encouraged in like my faith or anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of where I was before.
Before starting a relationship with Jesus, I didn't really know what I was doing in life. Like day to day, I didn't realize what my purpose was.
I kept digging myself in a deeper hole whenever I would struggle with stuff. I became not like super depressed, but I became depressed. I struggled with anxiety a lot too, and so that was stuff that really was hard on me throughout those years and growing up because I just didn't have that strong friend group or that strong community who I could run to if I needed help.
Looking back now, that there was a lot of things I was like really ashamed of that I was doing. There was a lot of like self-consciousness and doubt I was feeling, and like just waking up and I was just like ashamed of what I had done like that past weekend or whatnot. So I think there was a lot of like holes in my heart that I didn't realize were there.
I became involved with Young Life in 7th grade with wildlife. One of my best friends at the time, Macy Dixon, her dad was our area director, so she was already pretty heavily involved, and she invited me to club and I went with her. And I remember when I was there, I was just feeling very strange. I felt very awkward being around a bunch of like college students. I didn't really know how to act, but as the night went on, you know, we just played games, we sang songs. It was so fun.
I got involved with Young Life through my girlfriend Stephanie, actually. I was on the basketball team, she was a cheerleader, that's how we kind of knew each other. I had no idea what Young Life was. Beginning my freshman year, my mom kind of mentioned it to me, but it was just something I never wanted to get involved with. But ever since Steph was a freshman, she was involved a little bit. She had friends in it and stuff, so she'd be going to campaigners and club and all activities they did. And so when I met her, she kind of encouraged me to go. She kind of brought me along to some campaigners and club. Right away, I still wasn't sure if I wanted to like be a part of that. But since she was a part of it and going, I was like, you know what, I'll just go along with the ride, see what happens, meet some cool people. Maybe this is what I've needed. This may be the community and the friends that I needed.
Yeah, I got involved with Young Life because my best friend Audrey had been like talking about it and like really excited about that going into high school. So freshman year I started to go with her a little bit, and then I stopped going for a while, but like I had met Gracie, who is my Young Life leader, and she like really wanted to start a friendship with me, so we hung out individually. But then I kind of stopped coming around, and then junior year I got to go to camp, and that's like when I got really involved.
My first Young Life leader, her name was Maeve. The first interaction I had with her, I just remember looking at her and thinking that she was just the coolest girl I've ever seen. I wanted to be exactly like her, and she actually ended up teaching me a lot about how to be a Jesus follower as a young girl in a small town, in a small school. And she was just always a very important figure to look up to, especially in Young Life and in my relationship with Christ.
It wasn't till my summer going into my senior year, so like my last summer in high school, that I really started to get involved. I met some leaders, became friends with the leaders and the people involved. And that was the camp I went to, was Saranac. That was the first camp I went to. I just got involved through my girlfriend, and now here we are leading college life.
My relationship with my leader, Grace, was really great, and she pursued me really well and like met me exactly where I was, which wasn't like the best, but she did such a good job of like not making me feel ashamed of things I was doing, and she just like loved me in that space. She's one of my best friends, and she's a few years older than me, but she's awesome, and yeah, the friendship's like really strong, and just, yeah, it's still there, and yeah, so she's the best.
After my freshman year of high school, I went to Rockbridge with my Young Life group. I remember towards the end of camp, my Young Life leader pulled me aside and she asked me if I wanted to stand up at the say-so. There was just something in me telling me that I wasn't quite ready and that I wanted to wait, so I didn't end up doing it then, but I remember being at the say-so and watching people that I didn't even know standing up and declaring their love for Jesus, but there was just something in me telling me that I wasn't ready. So I ended up going home. I thought about it for a really long time, and then I was fortunate enough to go to Fall Weekend that November. At Fall Weekend, I pulled my Young Life leader aside and I was like, I really want to do this. I think I'm ready. And she was like, Lexi, that's so good. I'm so proud of you. So at the say-so, then I got to stand up, and I remember my voice was so shaky. I was shaking, I was so nervous, but it felt so good, and I immediately started bawling. Like, I think I was crying when I was doing it.
When I decided to follow Christ, it was at a Young Life camp called Saranac. I was pushed to go. I wasn't really forced to. I was just very, very encouraged to go. And I was like, you know what, this should be fun, let's do it. And so I went, had the best week of my life, and one activity I did with my cabin was we went on a hike up through the mountains. It was like a 20-30 minute hike, so it was a good chunk. And we got to the top, and it overlooked like all of these mountain ranges and these bodies of water, like lakes and stuff, so it was beautiful, and it was beginning of June, so it was really, really pretty. We got to the top and we just started talking as a cabin and as a group and stuff. And my leader, Dan, pulled me aside and was just like, I don't know if you know this, but I never really got to ask you this. Would you ever think about committing your life to Christ and following him? In my head, thoughts were running through my mind like, this is the perfect time to do it, on top of his creation, looking over all this beautiful land. And I was like, I think I'm ready after this week. I just felt like there's this fire that was lit inside me, that this is what I've needed my whole life. This is what is gonna help me get through the hole I was digging myself into. I feel like I finally found myself, and I found like what I was meant to be.
Summer going into my junior year, I got to go to camp at Lake Champion with my high school's Young Life, and I wasn't like anticipating to like start a relationship with Jesus at all, but at the end of the week, I think I just like, the week just changed my life, and like the friends that I got to know there, and like just the people that I was surrounded with, and the truth I got to hear about like the gospel and who Jesus really is, opened my eyes to stuff that like I've never heard before. And so at the end of that week, it was like 2018, I gave my life to Jesus there, and yeah, it was incredible, and that week definitely like changed my life and my heart.
After deciding to follow Jesus, I would say that my life mainly changed in the way that I would look at relationships in my life. I felt such a rush of like freedom, and I realized that I don't need to be pouring myself into these people that don't have my back and don't care about me the way I care about them, and I realized that I don't need to please people the way that I thought I did.
Jesus kind of just opened my heart to everyone around me, and I feel like I can love people a lot easier through his love.
It's just like been so much more enjoyable and exciting, and like the friendships I've made since then have been like so intentional, and I'd never had friendships like that before. So I would say like every aspect of my life has changed somewhat more or less since I started following Jesus.
Young Life for me has meant community for the longest time. Having a group of people to go to and just to feel like I can be myself and they can be themselves, and to know that we trust each other enough for that.
An impact Young Life has on me as ever since I became a leader would be just pursuing Jesus every day and going out and doing ministry and going after kids that are lost, going after kids in positions that I was in. And so it's very easy for me to relate to those people and be like, hey, I know how you're feeling, I know what you're struggling with. This is what you need. Jesus is what you need. And so I feel like Young Life has definitely given me the opportunity to do that.
I think Young Life definitely introduced the gospel to me, which I'd never heard before. So I think that just opened my eyes to a whole new thing that I was never exposed to. Just hearing that truth, and then the way I was loved by my leaders and by my friends in the community. I just wanted more of that and wanted to be a part of that. It just it made me feel loved and cared for in a way that I didn't necessarily feel like I was loved and cared for before. Now I get to be a leader at Logan High School, and just getting the opportunity, I think I'm just so excited because of what Young Life's done in my life, and I'm just pumped to see that in other high schoolers' lives. And just getting to be a part of Young Life is a privilege and just such a cool tool for ministry. I'm just excited because it's for myself, I saw how it was what introduced me to the gospel and the person of Jesus, and so it's just a really cool space to be able to do that for other kids.
To me, Young Life means joy.
Grateful.
Family.